Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Good morning and welcome to Business Focus right here on Champions League Breakfast on Capital. Morning to you, Kudzie. How are you doing today?
Morning Tinashe, morning Patisani, morning everyone.
Okay. So,
But I'm doing ngomdezere. Anakuya egando ngomdeza kasaka anofana umtosera. Asikana area initiate.
Usabota ari Kudzie.
No, unofa my business calculations. It's no lossy. But risk.
All right, Kudzie, let's talk about the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, the update and what to expect this week.
Thank you, Tinashe. I think on Friday last week, I think those who were looking at cashing out of the market were kind of happy because the bulls were sort of like raging on Friday because it's not every day that you get a 6% gain. On the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. That's overall. We had the Zimbabwe, the ZSC Top 10 Index gaining by 6.02%. The ZSC All Share Index up by 4.19%. And for those who always listen to Business Focus, you know it's been a long time since we spoke about gains on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Let alone gains of that magnitude. So I think those who were looking at cashing out are happy about that. The First Mutual Property was the top riser with a 15% gain. We know First Mutual Property is partly owned by First Mutual Life, and we know that First Mutual Life is on the verge of being acquired by CBZ. So it's an interesting development there. Masimba Construction also amongst the risers, up by 14.99%, and then Beverages Giant, that's Delta, up by 10.26%, EcoCash adding 10.01%, and CBZ putting on 8.44%. So those were the top risers, and these are the stocks that helped the market close positive. And then on the downside, we had Art Corporation down by 13.96%. Art Corporation is into stationery, also for your school stationery, and you'd expect them to have benefited from the back to school. And then Star Africa also down by 8.77%. Star Africa reported their results last Friday, showing a drop in volumes for their sugar business, but one of their units also recording gains in terms of volumes. And then ZHL down by 7.8%. Pro Plastics and Dairy Board also easing by 0.01%. About $211 million was invested in Delta, 94 million in Dairy Board, and then Econet, Pro Plastics and Tanganda also getting a sizable chunk of the funds that were invested on Friday. In terms of what to expect this week, I'm not sure whether the gains that we saw on Friday are likely to be repeated, but I'm sure. What I'm sure of is that today I think the market will close positive, because if you look at those strong gains that were recorded on Friday, obviously I'm sure there are still some investors that will try to be buying, especially in those stocks that were positive on Friday. So I expect the market to close positive again today, but maybe not as with bigger margins as seen on Friday.
Okay, so what should we then expect for the week, obviously, in terms of the local market, before we look into the regional and international markets?
Yeah, so with the local markets, I think some of the things that we are always looking forward to is in terms of the exchange rate, but the exchange rate is now predictable. You can easily tell that the Zimbabwean dollar might weaken by $50 or something like that. So it's now predictable, which means that people can actually plan along the trend that we have seen in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
So, by what you're saying, does it mean stability?
Yes, if the exchange rate is not moving by bigger margins, I think that's what we call stability. What maybe we need to then look at is what's happening on the parallel market. I haven't checked whether there is instability on the parallel market, because in Zimbabwe, unfortunately, when we talk of stability, we have to look at both markets, the official one and the parallel market. And maybe today I'll find out whether the power market is also stable, as we are seeing. But I would expect it to be stable. Why? Because the market is now largely trading in US dollars, and there are very few local dollars that are in circulation, and those who have the Zimbabwean dollars are not in a hurry to be changing them, and they are not in a hurry to lose value of them, because they know that the next day somebody is asking for Zim dollars even if you look at in your WhatsApp groups and everything, on status of people, you see people saying that I'm looking for well, they still call it RTGS, but it's the Zimbabwean dollar. RTGS, but yeah, but it's now the Zimbabwean dollar, and you see people asking for the Zimbabwean dollar. So I don't expect instability anytime soon, and I don't expect government to be going all out to print money, because they are now generating the US dollars. And like I said the other day, if they are to print money, then that will just be the death of the Zimbabwean dollar, and I don't think there is any.
But Kudzie,
yeah,
we're having money, but we're not having money.
Yes.
We don't want it to be printed, but we want it to be there.
Yeah, we wanted to look.
So how do we have it?
Look, we need to look at what is happening with production. You know, it has to be. We have to print what is enough for, or what is in line with our economic growth. So you can't be printing millions of dollars that are not backed by anything. At least. Yes, we know that most currencies are no longer backed by anything, but at least they should be backed by production. That's confidence. So if there is no confidence, if you print, then you are just signing the death warrant for the local currency. And I don't think authorities are in a hurry to do that. Like I gave an example to say today, if they decide to print, let's say 1 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. They can only buy, at a rate of 10,000, they can only buy about $100 million. What would you do with $100 million? Not much. So is it worth it to risk losing the Zimbabwean dollar altogether just to get 100 million, which doesn't take you that far? So I don't think authorities would print. I think they are actually thinking about ways of injecting more Zimbabwean dollars into the market. For example, through making sure that people use more of the Zimbabwean dollars. I think if we can go to a ratio of at least 40% of our market, of our economy, should be transacting in the Zimbabwean dollar. I think that would be sort of like ideal, instead of what we are seeing now, where it's 90% to 10%. I don't think that's ideal. One of the reasons why I say so. Yes, we want to jump in, Pakistan.
So 90 to 10% our local
currency, maybe at over 5% local currency.
But this is almost dollarization.
Yes, it is. It is almost a dollarization, which I don't think is ideal for us. I was just reading a report just this morning, and somebody was commenting on Brazil, saying Brazil actually has a trade surplus versus China. They supply more to China than what China supplies to Brazil, and he was also highlighting to say that. The issue of dollarization, you are saying dollarization is not the answer. We need to look at bringing confidence into our economy and use our own local currency. There are so many disadvantages that we get when we are using the US dollar, especially in a market where there is lack of confidence in our banking sector. Izvozvi patisani vanhu vari kuti uri kuti ukatumirwa mari whether Western Union or whatever, sorry for saying names, but if you are somebody sends money to you through remittances, you withdraw it, that man will never see the entrance of a bank anymore. It trades in the informal market, and the next day it goes to Messina, it goes to China, outside the banking system. So banks are now being used like a funnel. They just import physical notes, and they give them they give them as withdrawals, and that money is never banked again. So the Bank Use Promotion Act, which is at the disposal of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, should be enforced without any excuse.
Okay. All right, let's take a break a bit, and when we come back, we get to pick up some more questions, as well as to look at regional and international markets.
Are you an entrepreneur or a small business owner who wants to take your business to the next level?
I'm listening. The Zipit Smart Business Banking Solution gives you the tools that you need to manage your finances, track your spending, and grow your business. With Zipit Smart, you can rise above. Register today. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
Brace yourself for the ultimate outdoor adventure. It's Family Fun Day at Stephen Margolis Resort on the 16th of September. Proudly brought to you by Cappy Talk 100.4 FM and Stephen Margolis Resort. Experience the thrill of sliding down a giant water slide, speedboat cruises, or the heart-pumping adrenaline rush of the zip line and a giant swing. You'll be doing all this and more along with your favorite Cappy Talk presenters. It will be an incredible day with music, great food and drinks from the butchery, kitchen and bar for everyone to enjoy. Be part of the Family Fun Day action at Stephen Margolis Resort, number 625 Stephen Margolis Road off Chitungwiza Road, Waterfalls. Stephen Margolis Resort, an adventure and leisure paradise.
Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Welcome back to the second segment of Business Focus. A couple of questions are still here.
So, Kudzie, can we say we're in control of the economy when we don't have our own money?
Not really. We are not. We can't say we are entirely in control of our economy when we don't have our own money. We need our own currency. There are so many advantages. I think we have spoken about them. But I emphasize, let's let's bank the money. I don't know how we can emphasize. Imagine, guys, you would withdraw money, but the next day hausikundoibenga, but the next day ukazonzwa kunzi hakusisina manotes futi wakuchema futi kuti hey tiri kulimitwa ma-withdrawals. You think banks can continue to incur costs of importing manotes and then we don't bank that money?
But remember, Kudzie, gone are the days when we used to have a situation where if I deposit $20 today, after 30 days I'll find it here $23 or $24 with a bit of interest.
Yes.
Are we gaining that now?
Yeah, I think the banking sector is letting us down big time. I think we must have a conversation with the bankers.
Because this $20 $18,
yeah,
$17.
if not 15.
Do you know that some banks will charge you money for depositing my US dollars into your account? Especially my prepaid cards, my Mastercards. Ukatoinda $100 yako chinoideposita imomo. Vatokucharge.
Yes,
wozota ma-transaction fees and what, but ngoisa my account momo. So banks are letting us down. I don't think they complain that the people are not depositing money, but they're not playing their role. Their charges are too much. That's how they're making money. I was looking at the numbers from banks. Not even one bank did not declare my dividends. They all declared dividends, which means that they're making money. So I think they need to look into that and make sure that we encourage. I think it's from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the banks themselves, and various institutions. I think.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility, or it's their responsibility.
Because people get more confidence in saying, "Arigandipe Kudzie $100 yangu ata anozondizorera ya $150."
Kana ndomuzosera at least ndomuzosera yakakwana kana nakanipa 100.
But then if you put into the bank, lower than what you have. Achangozosairi 100, not less than 100.
Yes, we understand. We understand that the banks, they incur costs in running these things. My systems are shandisa and everything, they incur costs. But at least it should be reasonable. Yeah.
All right, let's look at just briefly onto the regional and international markets.
Thank you, Tinashe. I'm just looking at one of the messages that was sent. As Kudzie, by encouraging us to bank, you are telling us to sign up for voluntary robbery by banks. We don't trust those places. Pillow Bank for now. So yeah, my good friend, hopefully my good friend Lawrence Nyazema from the Bankers Association of Zimbabwe is listening to this. You were talking about regional markets, Tinashe. I think most markets were actually positive. The only markets that were negative were in Mauritius, Malawi, Botswana, Nigeria, and Morocco. Those were the markets that were in the negative territory. But joining Zimbabwe on the upside were markets in Kenya, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Zambia, Namibia, Tanzania, and the Nairobi Stock Exchange in Kenya. Also the JSE in South Africa. All those markets were positive. So good returns there for investors on regional markets. Going to the UK, the FTSE 100 was up by 0.18% for last week, and then the the Dow Jones Industrial Average also was actually down by 0.86% for last week. So that's how the markets were performing last week on the international and regional front.
So, Kudzie, if you were to point out something that the new cabinet should work on in Zimbabwe, what would that be?
Yes, hopefully we get to hear the new appointments or a new cabinet. Hopefully this week. I'm not sure, but it's likely to be this week. But if there's one thing that I want to be done is formalization. Formalization of businesses. I know sometimes formalization is difficult because of the processes that one has to take. It must be easy to formalize. Even this now when I middleman and also going to charge a mari just to formalize my company. It should be easy. Something you nini pa internet, pa website, for example, Zimra, for example, or Kanban registry. I should be able to do it quite easily. I know for Kanban registry to register a company and having a license, it's now easy. If you go to the Zimbabwe to Zeta, it's easier now to do that. But also in terms of tax, registering for tax and everything else, I think it should be very easy to anyone. Even when tax compliance, it should be easy for people to do that. To get a license should be easy. Formalization helps us in terms of revenue collections as well. Everyone who is using my resources in Zimbabwe, infrastructure and everything, and they are generating income, at least they should be tax compliant. So I think formalization is one thing that we need to do as a country. Yes, people might say to go formalize, say to go badarama taxi, say is true to tambura. But again, formalization, the little that you contribute, and we're hoping Kuti Zimra will also come up with my reasonable taxes. The little that you contribute will go towards making sure that we have got the good infrastructure. Because when we have got good infrastructure, efficiencies in your business will also improve. Yes, and even the cost of doing business will also be be lower. So we need to really look into that and formalize. Zimbabweans, let's formalize. I know this is a controversial one, but let's formalize.
So, how do I informalize the informal sector?
Actually, yes, a lot of businesses are now being forced to informalize. It's a formal business, but it's not being forced to informalize because of some of the laws and rules and regulations that we have.
Do it the informal way.
And also because of the unfair advantage that those who are informal are getting. So a company will say, instead of selling to a major retail outlet, I should just supply patisani and don't want a cash yangu. Ndikaona cash ina macharges, ina chindu ngona cash yangu. Ipapo no isa paspepiro.
So but
no charges.
These are policies that are forcing people to
informalize. Yes. So we need to look at our policies. Hopefully the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference that is happening in October, ZCon, hopefully it will come up with the correct and the right policies that can take us forward in terms of formalization of our economy.
Samanyanga from Banket says that, just quickly before we wrap it up for sports now, saying that we should move away from the use of statutory instruments.
Yeah, you don't want statutory instruments, but I think it should consider maybe when we put up my economic measures and policies, and might think through them and it. So, panozo implement on animal loopholes, and then makutanga kuya statutory instruments. Because to exploit those loopholes, and then makuya statutory instruments. I think we need to kanataki policy, guide well thought out, and your implement kwa jaganaka. Jisnama ma reversals here and now and again.
Okay, let's get into our financial term of the day quickly.
Financial term of the day, I think compound interest, which is the interest that is earned on both the principal amount and the interest that has already been earned. This means that the interest you earn in one period is added to the principal amount for the next period. So instead of just earning interest on your principal amount, you also earn interest on interest. So some people call it the eighth wonder of the world because that's how your money can multiply faster.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Kudzie, for Business Focus. We'll do this again tomorrow, right here on Capital 100.4 FM.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.